So I took your advice.
Which advice was that? Oh,
What's that?
coffee or tea, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of
Nice.
tea. Yeah,
Excellent. I got to make
I
you a
figured,
mug.
huh?
I'll make you a mug.
You'll make me a mug?
Yeah, with your logo or whatever you want.
Oh, that's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, I need to set up my store with merchandise.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, I think I told you this before, but I love t-shirts with sayings,
Hmm.
and I have a t-shirt press. So I was thinking that I'm gonna start doing that too. Like and just rock
You have a
t-shirts and
t-shirt
if people
press?
want to buy them. The
Okay,
press.
so I have ideas for I'm like so like I didn't know you were like that,
Oh
but
yeah, I'm creative all the way
no,
around.
no, I'm not gonna say my idea
You
on this platform,
okay, good. Because I was
but
well, 'cause, yeah, I will ask you because I have some I want to know because
but
t-shirts
I
are
do
hard.
have the ideas already laid out for the merch, is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
I do already have, in mind the kinds of things that I like.
So I can
Hey,
make
so
t-shirts, mugs, like wallets, like anything
okay,
that
so do you know like baseball jersey fits? You know what I'm
yes,
talking
the
about?
ones with the colored sleeves and then white, like the not jerseys, but the t-shirts. Is that what
No, jerseys.
oh, actual button-up jerseys? Like
Yeah,
the
can you get your
uh-huh.
hands on those?
If they can be
That's what I want.
sublimated, if they can be sublimated, which is the infused ink into the fabrics, if they're made of polyester, I can do it, or a polyester blend. Do it.
Okay. Well, I mean that's ultimately what I want, but we'll get into that at a different
Okay.
time. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, yeah,
Mhm.
I have some peach tea today
Oh, I was gonna make peach and honey tea. That's funny, but I made blackberry sage because,
because you like blackberry.
well, no, the sage is what makes it so like I don't know, it's very interesting and different. Because I do get sick of tea, There's not a million trillion teas in my cupboard.
Oh yeah, there's a million trillion teas in my cupboard. Every day, every time I see a new flavor or something or
You get
whatever, I'll
it,
buy
and
it. Yeah.
I might have some Rex for you, but we'll talk about that
I
later.
even went online to buy. I was thinking about buying them online so I could just buy, and they have so many different flavors online depending on where you go. They have
Go to
so many.
Republic of Tea. Those are the best to me. They are so they knock all other teas out of the box as far as American teas go, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah, very good. They cost a little more, but it's worth it. I don't even work for them.
How do I look? I look all right because I woke up early this morning. I could not get back to sleep.
Yeah, you look good. I thought you were gonna be like when you first came on, but I guess it's because you're a floater, but you look like you were more tired. But
Well,
no,
it's the strangest thing. I mean, I could not. I woke up at like 5:36, and
mm,
I was trying to go back to sleep, and I was just rolling over, and
no.
it
Tossing and
just
turning, I think they call it.
okay. I think you might be
So,
right about that.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, so I mean, I woke up at the crack of dawn this morning. I got it started.
when I'm up at the crack of dawn, it's because I'm still up usually. Not,
Uh,
I don't like wake up,
well,
but
that's usually how it is for me too, but it wasn't
yeah.
the way that wasn't the case today.
Okay. I wonder if that'll be a pattern. Because today, last night I was so tired. I just lay down and my family gets mad at me because they say, you're going to wake up hurt because I'll just stop where I am. So I got on jeans, I got my computer in one hand, my iPad in the other. I'm like, I don't care, I'm tired. But no, I told Num to set his alarm because I didn't know where my phone was. He set it for 8:30, supposedly. And, but my body clock from this week, waking up around that time, just woke up at 8:38. His alarm had not gone off. He was snoring. I was like, oh, now see, what if I would have just rested that? But no, my body clock had my back. So it's
Yeah, that's
starting to be a
cool.
pattern. Yeah.
That's cool. So what you want to talk about today?
I have a couple things. I was wondering, we were talking about music every day. I guess we talk about music
Mm.
because it's just a part of our lives. But I was thinking about how horribly we take care of our artists. Like we don't Americans, for the most part, like we don't check for them. We let them have breakdowns or let them fall off, and you're kind of as good as your last hit, and then people move on, and like we have these kind of 24-hour news cycles, and then artists end up dying, sometimes dying, not to be so like macabre,
Well,
you
you
know.
saw my face go screwy just now when you said
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Because Candace Owens just did a piece on the
Oh,
connection between Michael Jackson, Kanye West, And
Diddy, right? Diddy, the
no,
bodyguard.
Michael Jackson, Prince, and Kanye West.
Oh, I did not see that.
Right. And the whole Justin Bieber thing that's going on right now.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
how he's getting all this bad press because I mean there. He's getting all this bad press because maybe he wants to get out of his contract.
You think? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't
that's
watch her episode
yeah.
because I
I
know that.
actually saw a report on that. And if you
Okay.
don't mind, like, let me
Yeah,
show
if
you
you
this
have
real
it,
quick.
and then because I was going to show you Bieber too. I was going to show you Bieber and then our friend Brittany too, and a little comparison that came to me whilst I was watching Brittany, her newest video.
Well, this guy, his name is James Lee on X. He just
Hmm.
did a little snippet on this whole Justin thing, and it kind of put it in context because Kanye's been talking about it, and Michael was talking about it, and
I think
Prince
I
was
know
talking
where you're
about it.
headed. This video
Uh,
for entertainment purposes only.
right, indeed. All right, James Lee on X. He says, "Leave Justin alone."
Justin Bieber is finding out just what happens to you when you try to walk away from the system that built you. Because right now, if you Google anything about Justin Bieber, it is all negative. They're saying his marriage is on the rocks, that he's in tens of millions of dollars of debt. The Hollywood Reporter is insinuating that he's suffering from a crisis in faith. But is any of that actually true? Because if we zoom out, we know that for years, Justin has been trying to get out of these horrible contracts that he signed with these record companies when he was a young kid, including trying to get out of a contract with his longtime manager, Scooter Braun. And over the past couple days, there have been rumors flying around online about a publicist named Stephanie Jones and how she's coordinating this attack against Justin Bieber, this smear campaign, on behalf of her client, Scooter Braun. And this morning, I got off the phone with a source very close to Justin's team, confirming that that rumor is true. Justin is trying to extricate himself from these contracts, and now Hollywood is fighting back. And Stephanie Jones, who represents a bunch of celebrities, including Tom Brady, let's just say if she's not your friend, she's your enemy. She's described as taking this no-holds-bar approach, super aggressive. She calls it championing the causes of our clients. Her PR team was at the heart of the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni drama, and now it seems that she's got her crosshairs on Justin Bieber. Now look, it's easy to write this off as celebrity drama. Rich people with rich people problems. But to me, this is really a universal story about what happens to people when they take on the system. Whether it's entertainment, finance, politics, the system will always work overtime to destroy them. And I'm choosing to talk about this now because every time a story like this gets exposed, the system loses a little bit of its power. And when enough of us are finally looking, that's when we have a chance to really take the system down.
Agreed. I agree with him in that if we stop watching them, they'll have to come up with something else. So you saw that
I don't know if that's
campaign.
exactly what he said. I think what he said was more
Well,
so
he's
like
saying, go
the
ahead.
more of us that know about these games they play,
Right.
the less they can play the
The
games.
less they have power, right? Which is part of that. It would be just to stop paying attention to them when they do these things because it's like we don't believe you. We know the truth. There's a campaign right now to ignore celebrities on TikTok. I don't know where it's at in this point because I don't follow celebrities, but the first person they targeted was Kim Kardashian. So her views, she posted a video and her views were a quarter of what they usually were. I don't know what the impact was, but I find it pretty funny, that people are mobilizing and it's just a good I find it positive that people are mobilizing and seeing these things for what they are. Um,
Well, I
and
don't. What are they replacing it with though?
what are they replacing their need to
Okay, so
scroll
you
with?
you you used to watching Kardashian, 2 hours a week, but what do you watch now if you're not going to watch her?
Well, TikTok is different. You're not watching a whole show. She's
But
just
I, but
posting.
you get my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I
I
do.
said
I
two
do.
hours a week because it could be like TikTok videos or little blurbs
Hmm.
from the show or whatever like that. But
Well,
say,
I could
so
pick
how do
up a
you fill
book.
that time? I think that's more important than just turning off Kim.
Correct. Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Um, so that people don't, because anytime there's lack of entertainment or lack of habit, you get into
I mean,
some
if
bad
you
things.
switch it from Kim Kardashian to Real Housewives, what are you really doing?
Right, exactly. No, no, this is a whole celebrity thing. It's not just they're just, kind of. not letting celebrities have the power that that they've had consistently in history. Another thing is Dave Chappelle said something, and I keep trying to remind people of this. As soon as you see people backing down off of any kind of statement that is outside of the box. And Dave Chappelle said that why don't we all just say what we did? If we all just say what we did, they'll have no power over us. And I think that Bieber especially is very nervous because of what happened with him allegedly with the Diddy situation. And so I worry that they'll have a carrot dangled so, that's so detrimental that he might back down and not,
I don't know
and he'll
about
fall
that
back.
because as far as I can tell with Justin and the Diddy situation, Justin's a victim.
Exactly, but they're all victims, like all of them. They're all of them, and we can't. Yes, Diddy was abused by his
Clive Davis.
I want to say Pope, but no, at his church when he was a young kid is what I heard
Uh,
again, allegedly, and it
okay.
started there. So when we think about little Diddy, are we mad at him?
Well,
Kind
if I'm not
of.
mistaken, he was supposed to be in a relationship with Clive Davis too, right? Was it Clive
Yes, yes,
Davis?
yes. Clive Davis,
Right. So,
absolutely.
but I don't know if that was consensual or abusive. So I don't
Well,
know.
Clive Davis is many times his senior. But then now Diddy's grown. Are we mad at him? Or do we understand why little Diddy grew up to be Big Diddy? And likewise with like R. Kelly, like if nobody told you you were wrong, and you can't even read. He can't even read. Like, nobody said what you're doing is wrong. In fact, they facilitated it. He was able to marry a 14-year-old, like all that stuff. He was abused when he was a kid too, like and he was allowed these things. So are we mad at
Yeah.
him? Like, where's the cutoff is my point.
Well, I don't think you have to know how to read to know that being with underage girls. I think he was sneaking around on it. Wasn't like he was, advertising it. So he's sneaking around. So he had to know something was wrong with what he was
I,
doing.
I know I hear
And
what you're saying there, but I mean, I hope people don't advertise any relationship that they're in consensual, like that's a private thing. But yeah,
well, yeah, I mean, some people do. I mean, there's a whole show called The Bachelor,
some people do. Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's it.
But right. So but he wasn't yeah, I think that I think he was cognizant that what he was doing
I
was
think
not
he got to that point after he married Aaliyah, perhaps, and so he just kept it hidden. But
after he
nobody
married
in his
Leah.
immediate circle,
They snuck off and got married under the cover of night, if I remember correctly. Like
yeah, but under
it
consent
wasn't
of
like
her
they had a
family,
big
though,
ceremony
there
and
was
they
a
invited
sign
the
off.
paparazzi to come watch him walk down the
No,
aisle.
no, and I don't think anybody did that, in my
So
opinion.
my point
But
is
her parents signed off.
whatever, but I'm not saying her parents are innocent. I mean,
I'm
just
just saying,
because,
I don't think so either. But I'm saying
right.
he did not. That didn't say
So
wrong.
no, but my point is, a lot of these people, whether they were abused or not, know what they're doing is wrong. And
Exactly. And so what's
yeah,
the
so
cutoff though? Because okay, the reason why I'm saying
what do
that
you
with
mean what's the
Bieber.
cutoff? We're responsible for what you do.
Okay. So remember when Usher came into the industry, right? How young he was. He was
Yeah.
what, 13, 14. So hypothetically, if he was if Diddy would not stay off of him and then he brings Justin to relieve some of that tension as a 14-year-old, we're mad at Usher, right? Even though he was being abused.
Yes,
Okay. So
of
then
course.
that's what I'm worried about with Bieber is he may have done something like that
Ah,
as a
well,
victim.
it is what it is.
And so then, okay.
It
And
is
like
what
I
it is.
said,
Let the
everybody
dominoes
should
fall
just
where they
say what
may.
they did. And then,
It is what it is. I mean, I heard you didn't see, I did three parts on Diddy. You were busy. This is like a few
uh-huh,
months ago, and you were busy.
uh-huh,
You weren't really doing the show like we were, but
mhm.
I did like a three-part thing on Diddy. We could sit up and go through that thing. And I mean, there's a story about Diddy sending Usher to the hospital
Yeah,
bleeding from the
yeah,
butt. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
exactly. And so that's
there's,
why I'm saying, like, are we
yeah.
mad at
But
Usher?
if you
Like,
turn around and do that to somebody else,
because that's what the cycle is, though. You know that. Like, that's
yeah,
the
okay.
cycle.
Yeah, if you, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
not saying I
Because
have an opinion,
listen,
like one way or another, I feel
listen,
away. I'm just
because
putting facts.
because I'm thankfully not part of that cycle.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
something that I mean, I don't know. But I do think that every man, every woman needs to stand on their own deeds. So I don't care if you were abused or not, personally.
Okay. So that's part of it is that's part of saying what we did. So once you put it out there, not only do they not have power on you, but you can start to work through what you did. I would think, I mean, a lot of things are forgivable. I won't say everything. I just can't say everything. When I think about, the worst of the worst, but a lot of things are forgivable
But
and carry that weight.
if you know the folklore about Bernie Sanders, the rabbit hole about him
No, I don't know.
is that he was taken to a place and ordered to rape a child. Now, this is all alleged. This is the
Right.
story
No,
I heard
I've heard
from
that
behind the
story many
scenes,
times over, but not
right?
with him about him. So
Yeah,
that's
that he was ordered to do it. And they said that if you don't do it, then we're going to kill your wife. We're going to kill your blah, 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 blah. And I forget who was with him or who said this to him at the time, but they were like, just do it. The kid, like, he's used to it. Like, I mean, I know it's bad, but the kid's used to it, but they're
yeah.
going to kill your whole family,
Right.
whatever, like that. And I heard, again, these are just rumors and so, take them with a grain of salt.
They're
I take it
interesting.
for I take it for this is the way these things work sometimes,
Hmm.
right? I don't take it for like this literally happened to Bernie, but this could possibly be the way these things work. And
Hmm.
so apparently, like he cried the whole time, like he couldn't not do it, but he cried the whole time that he did it, and that's how they got him on this stuff.
And so are we mad at him? Yes, for that, even though
Um,
the item was forced.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a case by case basis, but I'd probably say, yeah, we still, well, I wouldn't say that we're
Because
mad
you
at,
could, because I wouldn't do it. I
I,
wouldn't do
I,
it.
I
I just,
I wouldn't use the phraseology. I wouldn't say that we're mad at him for doing something like
you
that.
know,
If
and
he had a
I'm
gun
not,
to
I'm
your
using
head, so
that
to
for lack of a
speak,
better,
right? But is he responsible for that act? Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
I guess, yeah. It's a tough one, but the only way to get through the tunnel is to lay it out. And a lot of people have no idea this stuff goes on, and it goes on. Like
Yeah.
it's deep. And there's a young man who, and you see these patterns over and over again, but there's a young man who has a podcast right now. I forget the name of it, but he tells a story of how he was born into this, into this family, and his grandfather, he was given to his grandfather to rape him every single night as a child. But and the way that they trained him, like they have all these training levels and
Mhm.
categories, and there's, all these bloodline, they take your blood, they take your DNA, they follow you, it's a huge thing, and it's about the fracturing of a human's psyche so that they can use them for their own purposes over and over and over again. And a lot of it has to do with sacrifice. And I'm not just saying that out of the corner of my, out of the side of my neck or whatever, because this comes up again and again and again and again. And it's like, to ignore it will be to our detriment, or this just stays,
Well,
it's
there's a lot of
and
witness testimony and personal testimony of what people have been through and things like that. If you want to look for it, I mean, you can find it. It's
oh
not
yeah.
it's not hard to find, but I don't. But this is not what is in this is not what's in the mainstream consciousness. Is why it's why people don't know it.
Right.
It
It's also
it's hard.
unthinkable to
It's
a
hard
lot
when
of
you don't know what you don't know.
true.
You
But
see
why
what I
do
mean
people
saying?
ignore? Yes, but look at the Catholic Church as an example, because people are very faith-based. So the
As an
Catholic Church,
example of what?
as an example of people not seeing what's in front of them, instead of, you're saying it's not in their consciousness, it's in front of you though, and they're telling you, the Boy Scouts, like all of these agencies that are supposed to be caretakers of our children are, brought up on charges and don't get punished, but that we know for a fact that the church is abusing young boys. It's been going on
Okay,
forever.
so but see,
So
but
we're
that in itself is a psyop because more abuse happens in public schools than public churches, but churches is what they keep talking about because they like it to happen in the schools. You see what I'm saying?
It makes sense, but I think that I disagree on that. Well,
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
happens
Actually, I don't
way
have the
more.
stats.
It
Okay, you
happens
can.
way more in the public schools than it
That's
does in
fine,
the
but it shouldn't
churches.
happen at all in the church,
No,
and people
I
should just
got you. Look,
ignore
I
it.
don't
You know what I'm saying?
understand. Listen, I don't understand the sick society. I don't understand men. I don't understand men like this. I
Right.
didn't know there were so many of them. I didn't know I was surrounded by so many sick, nasty motherfucking
Oh
men.
yeah.
So
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's a whole thing in itself, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm. I'm a normal guy. I can appreciate the young form, so to speak. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
We're
Past
not
puberty, but
infants,
not
I hope.
before. Not, you know,
Yeah.
I can appreciate that there's a girl in high school that's like, good looking or whatever like that, but there's nothing about me that wants to, have that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's cyclical, like I said, but it's also it's a sickness that's born in, and I don't know. I don't know. Once people, have you ever looked at the pedophile map in your neighborhood? Like, it is so crazy to me. I had to show my niece because she was putting her daughter on the internet. Like, my baby's so cute, and I was like, I need you to stop doing that, you
yeah.
know? And I showed her the map, and the offenders in just a 8 block radius was,
Um,
terrifying, for lack
so
of a better.
what are you saying? You're saying that they're
So,
trying to confuse the issue, or
with what was
like
I?
I'm trying to understand
A
why you
lot of
brought up
times
the
they do, yes, but I don't know if I brought that up. What
no,
was it?
because you were talking about the pedophiles. I thought you said something about transgender or something.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Um,
But if you would like to talk about transgenders, you
no,
may.
not
Okay, no,
necessarily.
I'm just kidding. I wanted you to scratch that itch. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
What I was like to just backtrack a little bit. I was saying that our artists go through, and I think it's all tied in. Don't get me wrong, but it's okay. So Justin did this live the other day. Did you see it? Probably on Candace. No.
No.
Okay, I'll play that really quickly. That's annoying. Okay, so he goes on live and he's just displaying some pretty, questionable behavior. And the people in the live are saying, man, somebody get this dude some help, you know? And how do we do that? How do we as people get Justin some help is my question. Do you have any ideas? I've seen it over and over and over again. We saw Michael Jackson fall apart. We saw Aaron Carter fall apart. We're watching Britney in real time, and I would say Wendy Williams. Um,
Yeah, again, I don't know how much of that. See, I don't know these people. I don't know
mhm.
nothing about I can't talk about, I don't talk about what I don't know, right? If you ask me how we can help Justin Bieber, I don't
Yeah,
think that we can, you know,
really.
I
I mean,
don't
we
think that
could
we
pray for
can.
him.
I think the
I
best
would,
thing that I suppose that we could do for Justin Bieber is to make sure the truth is out there in the consciousness. But the thing is, I don't know him. I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what the truth is.
right. Okay, let me play this, and I'll go. Um, I just wanted to mention that the whole world sings along to certified pedophile, and nobody does anything or even like questions what that means, what it stems from. Everybody just sings along, you know? And I think that part of it is the desensitization of such things so that it can continue with
I don't think
impunity.
that happens. I think everybody knows what that means. And I think that's why the
But
diss
he's just
record
walking
was the diss
around though, like,
record. And I think
I
that's
don't
why he
know.
won. That's why Kendrick won the beef.
Right, but nobody's asking about the babies, the kids. Like it's just like just I don't know. That's where I feel. Okay, cool. So let's see what he's doing here. I can see you with the Benny. You just wanna pop or Benny. I just wanna see more Benny. Their reaction. How the fuck are you gonna get any action? How the fuck am I gonna get any action? If I gonna keep reacting, I don't know. How am I gonna keep testing? I just think it's my passion. I just think it's my passion. So I'll stop it. But so that's pretty out of character for him, I'll say. And then for a live stream. I'm sick and tired of hurting. I'm sick and tired of hurting. I'm sick and tired of hurting, baby. I'm sick and tired of passion. I think it's just a passion. I think it's just a passion. I don't think I'm. So at this point, like, he's a father at this point, like he's a married father, and it's I don't know.
What? He's acting weird on the internet.
I
I mean,
mean,
I don't know what to say.
it's more than weird to me. Like it looks like
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest with you.
right. Okay. So then the other thing, I won't even pull it up. I'll pull it up just
I just don't have enough context. Like, okay, yeah, it's a little weird, it's a little strange, you
and
know.
yeah,
I got you. I see that, you know what I'm saying? But
the way he looks too. I don't know. I just don't.
No wonder Justin Bieber blinks frequently in his new video. No one realizes he's conveying three unsettling signals. In Justin's new live stream, his eye sockets are sunken, and his uncontrollable frequent blinking and behavior don't seem like those of a normal person. Justin revealed that his poor mental state is due to frequently having to wake up in the middle of the night to take care of his child,
That's crazy.
caused by lack of sleep. But no one believes this explanation.
Oh.
Many people are more inclined to think he is drinking to cope with Selena's engagement. Furthermore, he once hurt his body in order to win Selena back, but Justin didn't cherish the relationship, and eventually their romance ended. His uncontrollable blinking is signaling his physical health status, as his long-term irregular lifestyle has deteriorated his health, making Justin appear increasingly depressed. Finally, there are speculations about whether he has divorced Haley, which is why he is singing alone at night. Meanwhile, Selena has already found her own happiness, leaving Justin trapped in the past. Some even believe
Okay, I'm gonna stop it because that shit just sounds so
that
stupid
was
to me. I can't
horrible.
even.
That was horrifying. I was like, oh my God.
God, that's so bad. And that to me, that is dangerous for people to have stupid shit like that out. He
Oh
got
my
vaccine
God. I was
injured, is
like,
my
where is she
understanding.
taking me with this shit?
I know, right? No, but my understanding, just for the record, y'all, is that
Uh,
Justin was vaccine injured along with his wife, both of them, in fact, which is why the blinking was caused by a partial paralysis of his face, which I was curious to see whether or not that was still happening to him. I'm not sure he's even still because that stupid video that we just watched. So this with Brittany, you and I talked about this before. We did a segment on, weird celebrity behaviors or the cloning conspiracy theory and whatnot.
right.
And I told you
Oh,
that.
you know what? I'm sorry.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, no, it just made me, for a second, a thought just shot into my head right now.
Give
And
it to
I'm
me
looking
because
at
it's probably
Justin
down low.
Bieber.
Let's go.
And it
But
doesn't happen often. No, I'm just kidding. So, oh, good Lord, look at her in that. Okay, anyway,
that's what,
so
yeah. Mhm.
the same way that they take female celebrities like Miley Cyrus, like Amanda Bynes, like Britney
Oh, yeah.
Spears,
Mhm.
right? And they take them from these sweetheart images to these weird kind of places. Maybe that's the same thing that they're doing with Justin Bieber.
Yes. Yes. Like the crazy. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? You see, and that's
Mhm.
right. Okay, that's it. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go
that's
ahead.
actually good, and it can be built on because they kill legacies that way, and they discredit the art. They discredit. So if he did want to come out now and say something, they'd be like, "Who? That
Wait,
dude that was over there like this
Amanda
on the,
Bynes looks
like
crazy now. So,
Amanda." You said Amanda Bynes?
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well,
they got,
they
they
got
take
her.
you, they t
Mhm.
took them, when they're little kids, make you like them, and then they become super overly sexualized. There's this pattern, right? And then they become like these
Head
weird,
shaving, crazy. Yeah, exactly.
right?
And look at Lindsay Lohan, like a whole bunch of
Yeah,
it.
there you
Okay, so
go.
this
So
one is
maybe
weird.
Justin Bieber is just the male version of that.
Exactly. And look, I mean, crazy, it's very easy to dismiss crazy, which I think they like. So Brittany, the thing that concerned me about this, besides the fact that I told you before, I saw her billboard in Vegas and I was like, that's not Brittany. Why are people saying that's Brittany? I knew hands down, without a doubt, no fucking way that was Brittany. And you and I did one in the gap in the teeth. Anyway, so this is strange to me because listen to her voice.
Into like really little, so little, it's weird. But I have a little bitty pinky nail. I haven't had nails since I was in like the 7th grade. I'm like freaking out. It's like really, really tiny, but still. It's like, hey, baby, can't believe it unless based on you. Yeah, into like really little.
So,
She looks crazy in that right there. Like I ain't never seen her look like that before. Like, woo, girl.
and
Ooh.
what accent is that?
Yeah. She sound like
She's speaking a little bit British and something like that.
she
Is she
sound like
right?
if Wheezy was from Britain.
Oh man. Man. Well, we're not gonna laugh at
A
her.
lollipop.
You know what it reminded me of is
What?
Anna Nicole Smith right before she was leaving this earth. Remember when she did that clown video? And she was
No.
talking in a little baby voice. And Oh, you don't remember that? Okay.
Not in the way that I can recall it right now. I haven't even heard that name, Anna Nicole Smith, in a long
And
time.
so long. Well, you know my theory that the DNA is on loop, and so they get these blonde bombshells, and they wear them out till there is no more, and then
Yeah.
they get dead.
Yeah. Well, I still think that, even no matter what happened to you, what you do is, if you, especially if you know right from wrong, what you do, you got to stand on your own as far as
I
that
don't
goes.
know if she
And
knows
as
right from
far
wrong.
and as far as
Right
like,
now.
if you say what you did, there's some there's something to that, just say what you did.
And I think that they discredit them. So when they do say, if and when they do say what they did, nobody believes them. Nobody, because they're crazy, you know? I mean, look at Kanye. Kanye
I
speaks
think it
truth
probably
all the
depends.
time. And
I think
people
it
just,
probably depends on, yeah, we did. And, there's a little thread in there that we didn't really touch on this episode, but because that would have went us down a
I knew
whole
where you
other
were
rabbit
going.
hole.
That's when I
Yeah,
gave my disclaimer for entertainment purposes
that's why I didn't
only.
go there.
Yeah.
We will go there eventually, but
Uh-huh.
that this wasn't the time for it. Hmm?
What you got
Okay, so do
going?
you know who Comic Dave Smith is?
Yeah, Dave Smith, the political commentary dude
Well, yeah.
too.
Well, he's a
Yeah.
stand-up comic. Did you know
Yeah, I
that?
know. I did know that, but
Yeah.
yeah, he does say some funny stuff. He said something one time that had me on the floor. So yeah.
Funny thing is, I had never seen any of his stand-up. I had
Oh.
only seen him on these shows talking
Mhm.
his shit, right? And he's doing his thing or whatever, and I can't be mad at him. A lot of times I find him right, and sometimes I find
Right.
him
He's good.
insufferable, but
Mhm.
it is what it is, right?
He's very knowledgeable about what he's doing, and
Well,
he's not
he
above.
speaks with authority about what he's doing.
Mhm.
It doesn't always necessarily equate to knowledge, but
Not yeah, not in a lot of cases, but I do find him
right.
pretty knowledgeable.
But
Yeah.
he's not. But look, he does know his stuff, right? I'm not trying to disparage him at all. I'm just not trying to like swing from his nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
please
anyway,
don't swing from his nuts. You might
yeah,
fall.
we're not doing that. Okay, so anyway,
Pick up.
um, I came across a little piece of stand up from Comic Dave Smith.
I'm excited.
And it
Okay.
was so interesting that I almost put it in the news broadcast because I was like, what? Okay, he tripping. He tripping. Oh my God. But is he right? Is he right? Okay, he tripping, but is he right? Okay, so, excuse me. Ooh, I don't know where that came from. So anyway, yeah, so I'm going to show you
I like
uh,
that.
a, like a little clip of Comic Dave Smith. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Uh-huh. I like that.
And he's
I'm
doing his
such a fan
thing.
of the stand-up comedy, especially when it's smart and just,
Well, it's something.
it's something. Oh, I'm looking forward.
it's definitely something. All right. Yeah, you ready?
Okay.
You ever see those like YouTube videos where like they'll be like at like a checkpoint and they're like license and registration and the guys will be like, you don't have the constitutional authority to have Jesus Christ, bro. People really believe in shit. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. People believe in these crazy, ridiculous, made-up mythologies, just like ridiculous, untrue things that you're taught when you're little. Stupid shit like you have rights. And then people believe that, like it's a real thing. I was talking to one of my friends, he was like protesting the cops, and he let this fly out of his mouth. This is even worse than you have rights. He said this to me, he goes, what's fucked up about the cops is they work for us. I was like, what? No, they don't. No, they work. I'm sure you were taught that in like a civics class somewhere, but that's just bullshit that they say to like keep you in line. The cops don't work for us. That's that's testable. You think the cops work for us? Okay, let prove it. I want one of you guys to go outside right now, round up a bunch of cops, and just, start bossing them around a little bit. And we're gonna find out pretty quickly who the cops work for. Amazing. They go, the cops were, and so I said this to my friend, and he got very defensive because I started making fun of his. And this, when you challenge people's bullshit mythology, they tend to get defensive. So he's like, well, no, I'm not saying like they work for us, but what I'm saying is the way the system is supposed to work is I pay my tax dollars, and that pays his salary, so he works for me. And I was like, okay, that is some interesting logic right there. Okay, so you pay your tax dollars, that pays someone's salary, so they work for you. Well, here's the part of that equation that you are willfully leaving out. You don't choose to pay your tax dollars. You fucking have to, okay? You have to. You have to at the threat of violence. At the threat of, we will throw you in a cage if you don't pay these, and then you pay them. Someone doesn't work for you if you have to pay them after they threatened you. Someone only works for you if you choose to pay them. That would be like if someone mugged you, and then you were like, okay, I guess that guy works for me now. I mean, I'm paying his salary. It was until he threatened me that I paid his salary. But under this retarded logic that I've cultivated, I guess this guy works for me now. And I'll be honest, I wasn't even planning on hiring a new employee today. So it's been a pretty good day for me. This was my day off. If you pay your tax dollars and that pays someone's salary, not only do they not work for you, you work for them. Literally. Literally. You work, and you get money for the work, and then you give it to them. You work for them. And then they've got you so mind-fucked that not only do you work for them, but then after you give them the money, you go, sucker. That is some unbelievable shit. I wish I had thought of it.
Somebody went to the George Carlin School.
I was going to
of
say you
Comedy.
might as well play George Carlin after that. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. My George Carlin, my favorite rant is they don't they don't give a fuck about you. They
Right.
don't.
They don't care like that at all.
At all.
Right.
Yeah. I know I was gonna write something like, because it's just so, they don't care about you, not even a little bit, not a tiny bit. You are not invited to the parties, you're not invited to the meetings, you're not.
Right.
He,
It was a pretty funny bit though, right?
yeah, it was. And he looks so much younger, so that was a while ago. And he said retarded, which dates it. Because you
I don't know. I don't know when it was. I have no idea. I don't
Yep.
know.
But it was good. It was good.
So my what I was going to ask you was like, it looked like it kind of hurt your feelings a little bit. Like,
Well, because no, it's not
leave
that.
that
It's that
to
because
me.
I've seen people that actually know the law, like
Mhm.
actually know and can stand in their square, so to speak. I've seen them
Be
break the
successful.
system down and be successful. Yeah. And
I've seen that too.
exactly.
I've
So
seen that
I know
too.
that they highlight the retarded ones because that makes us not question the their authority or whatever. So
Well, I
yeah.
mean, there are a lot of statutes and such that are not that okay, so look. The problem is like I was trying not to get like too like, I don't want to get too existential on the whole situation, but
You can, I think.
well, because I was just going to ask you, what other some other like myths that everybody believes are true that aren't true. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I, like a serious one would be the myth that black men don't like black women.
Mhm.
When the statistic is that 85% or so of black men are married to black women, and I think it gets even higher when you go to above $100,000 earners.
Mhm.
So it's not that they get rich and leave for a white girl either, but that's the common myth, and that's why it was a good line in the Kanye song,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
Right.
Because that's
why.
what they show us publicly. Yes, the
Because
whole.
right, exactly. So yeah, I wasn't as much into the legal thing, but the belief is a lot of it because a lot of basically everything has to do with belief because we create
Mhm.
belief, right? So everything has to do with belief. So I try not to do belief, I try to do knowledge, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But there are a ton of beliefs. Another one is that like men don't clean up at the house or men don't pick up or help out around the house and stuff like that. but of course we do. I mean, of course,
Of course, you don't just sit in filth and just
right. And
yeah,
plus we do
that's
different
cool.
things. Like, we might fix the light switch and, we might make sure
Oh
that
yeah,
the
it's a
garage door
balance.
is opening
Yeah,
properly,
that's
right?
what
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Right. We do different stuff,
Yeah.
but we still do stuff. But there's
Mhm.
this myth that, like, he leaves his socks on the floor and blah, 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 right? You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
take the
Which is
socks
like,
and a running engine any day. Like my car is in great
now,
condition and I
these
clean up
myths are
my car.
perpetuated,
Yeah.
and some of them, are harmless. Black folks have a bigger Johnson, right?
And that's not a
Some
myth,
of them are
obviously.
very
Um,
harmful. Some of
some
them
are,
could be, yeah, some could be very, very harmful.
yep.
And so, like, what are some common myths that you see, maybe going around that people believe?
It's a good question. Well, this is a little controversial, but when Dave Smith said that we have to pay our taxes, uh, there's people that
That
think
say
that
you
that's a
don't.
myth that they say you don't. And there's people that
Yeah.
work for the IRS that look through the book and they cannot find it anywhere that says you
Well,
have to pay.
there's
It's
not a
voluntary.
law on the books. If I understand correctly, there is not a single law on the books that says you have to pay taxes. And if you look in the IRS statutes, it does say that it's voluntary.
Exactly. So
So,
the myth is that you have to pay taxes.
yeah,
Perpetuated by Mr. Dave Smith right there. So that's one.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
Trying
a
to,
good one. Um, there are a lot of racial myths going on right now.
yeah, I was gonna say what
I'm noticing that with this Carmelo Anthony thing, and you brought him up in
I
Austin,
did. And Austin
Austin
Metcalf,
Metcalf.
yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm noticing because, like, people are calling him a murderer and that. And look, don't get me wrong, like, look, niggas be wilding, right? So I'm not caping for this brother, right?
Right.
But at the same time, he was invited to be there, and apparently they were trying to kick him out of someplace, right? They were trying to
Mhm.
kick him out,
Mhm.
and I know, look, I know there are people that take knives to school for protection. I mean,
Exactly.
I know it happens. You know what I'm saying? It's not like something out of the realm of possibility, that I can't understand.
Right.
So, knowing that the dude was invited to be there and these dudes were giving him a hard time trying to get him out, I can't just make the jump to murder right away. But the
It's not,
stereotype
yeah. The
is
stereotype is that black males are like disproportionately violent
right.
and aggressive and angry, et
Now,
cetera.
to a degree, that is true.
Do you agree
But
it's
to a
true?
degree that is
However,
that is facilitated, like
right.
that's perpetrated onto the black community on purpose through music and movies
And because
and
we don't
popular
like
culture.
at the end of the day, like the common sense, for me, it's common sense when people are saying, why would he bring a knife to a truck for meat? And da, da, da. First of all, he hasn't had his day in court, so shut the fuck up. But
Well, that's the
secondly,
most important thing, right? We don't really know,
we
but
don't
I've
know
seen people
shit about
jump to these
shit. But
conclusions.
yes, but within our realm of reality, we do
Mm.
understand, do we not? I mean, maybe they don't. They don't understand the racial history of Texas and black people, what Texas has done to black people and what police in Texas have done and all the things. So it's well within the realm of possibilities that the man may feel unsafe walking down the street or his parents have taught him to have a protection plan in place, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that it's perfectly within reason that he would not feel comfortable and not feel safe going into
Well,
a tent of athletic, aggressive white people in Texas. That's my point.
yeah, I don't know about all of that. Like, I'm with you on like 40% of that. I don't think. Yeah, I think that he was being a little soft to even pull out a knife. Anyway, I think he should have knuckled up with one of them, knock one of them
I don't
out.
think that would have been a fair fight if there was his
Yeah, well, if there was more
brother
of
and
them, but still, nobody. No, you look.
I didn't think he should
You
flee like
saw
everybody
Friday,
said.
right? But you
Like,
get to go home, right? This
yeah,
is what I'm
yeah,
saying, right?
absolutely,
I
absolutely,
think
absolutely. I'm
he
with you.
escalated that to a point that it did not. Like, why would, bro? Like, seriously,
Yeah,
like,
no,
I
no,
would
that was, but I
leave.
still think it was an accidental killing. I don't think he meant it. He
Yeah, I
did.
don't think he meant to kill
People
him.
were
I think he
are
meant to stab
responding.
him. Don't get me wrong. He meant to
Right, right.
stab
He
him. He
meant
meant
to
to
stab
hurt
him,
him, but
yeah,
I don't think he meant to kill him,
kill him. And I
from
think
what I
that
could tell. From what
what
I
you're
could tell.
right. And so
Right.
the myths that are perpetuated I think, are what's bringing people's conclusions to where they are. So people are responding to this like he premeditated it. That's how the responses are to him. And that is crazy. That's crazy. That boy is not like, I don't see him. I just
There's
think
another
that,
myth that I
what's that?
talked about in the news.
What's that?
they say, will the rich get richer and the poor get poorer?
That's not no myth. I
That is
mean,
not true. I talked John
really?
Stossel did a report, and I put it in the news one week, and basically the rich get richer and the poor get richer too. The poor just don't get they
Uh,
don't get
oh,
as
because the
rich
rich
as
are
the
getting
richer.
richer. Yeah, so it's always
Right.
just under the upper
But
hand, no
everybody
matter.
comes up when the rich get richer.
Right. Okay. Okay. But then the value of money goes
Right.
down because so we all remain.
Right, right.
Okay.
Everybody
Well,
comes up,
so then
but
still, then then
the
it's
poor don't
still
get poor. So poor don't
right.
lose money.
Right.
They just don't come up as much as the rich people.
So you heard about the guy, the homeless man that won the $1 million scratcher out here, and
No.
that's such a great thing. I hope. I won't. Yes, I'll stay positive on that. But
Well, what kind of
that's such a
homeless was he?
great.
Was he the kind that likes to be out there?
I don't
You
know
know what I'm
him.
saying? Right?
Yeah,
Depending
I
on what
know.
kind of
Was he
homeless
the
we talking
kind that
about.
I don't know, but I do like that story still. I think it's a good, you know, it's good when that happens. I'm always for the underdog. But yeah, if yeah, that's a funny myth, but it's still true. It's almost
You got
like the
any
thing
more
when
myths that we think are true that are not true?
trying to think I can't think
Hmm.
of them any offhand. That's so weird. You did touch on a lot of them though.
I know.
Got
Well,
another
there's
one?
tons of them. There's like everything. A lot. I hear people saying that we're watching a movie, and they talk about that in terms of politics. But I think
Hmm.
that's in terms of a lot of stuff that we see. A lot of people are caught up in media and they watch TV and stuff like this. They perpetuate a lot of myths. You know,
One.
if you what if you're into mainstream media, you would think that like the TQ community is like this huge, like, overblowing, mass of of people, but it's really like a tenth of the population or something like that, or like a even less than
EQ?
that. Yeah. Okay, so I separate the LGBs from the TQs.
Oh yes. Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Right. You would think that
Right.
it's like, and it's
LGBs
like,
are one category, and they're trying to put it together so that they
right.
can all
They can
so that they
all, so
can
that's why the alphabet has gotten
right, and
so
that's why there's a
longer, and
plus
they've
at the
added
end
plus
because they're
signs and
waiting
all
to
this stuff.
add
Yeah,
to
which is like, that's not the way
yeah.
you do it. That's not how it works.
They want to
Like,
want to share the struggle. They piggybacked off
they're
of the
not one
black struggle.
community. Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah, well, they piggybacked off the black struggle and civil
DEI.
rights, and they
Yeah.
pivoted to this, and then they pivoted to that or whatever. But I think LGBs, they got, that's a thing. They've always been here. They're always going to be here.
Right. And
Let's not
they've for a
discriminate.
long time
That's
they've had all the
right.
rights that they're fighting for right now.
Equal
So
rights, all that, right? You
yeah,
know what I'm
good for
saying?
them.
But now they want to tackle on the TQs as if the TQs are just like the LGBs. And I think that's a myth. I think the
Yeah, that's
TQs,
a myth.
that's a
Do you
whole,
know, do you mind if you could explain to me what is the Q? I know what it stands for, but what do they do? What's their thing?
no.
They're not gay. I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't know. I wanted for my
Yeah,
own
I can't
knowledge. I don't
explain.
know what
Listen,
queer is.
even if I start to explain what my understanding of it is, like I'm not in
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Well, maybe someone can comment or something if that's possible, because I really honestly don't. I'm just unclear. I guess I could
you
ask
don't,
Chat.
well, yeah, okay, let's do this.
Because there's lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and then queer. But what is queer? I just don't understand.
Let's do this. Okay, so queer, a broad, inclusive term for people whose sexual orientation or gender identity doesn't fit traditional norms like gay, lesbian, bisexual, or non-binary identities. Okay, see, that just even
So
hurts. Like
fast.
even
That's not a community. Come on, you guys. Like,
right. First off, it's not a community; it's a few people, right?
right, exactly. And
But
that's some, and I find that to be a pretty entitled bunch. Like like
but
I'm just gonna
but
do
I just
what
don't like. Okay, so first off, it says traditional norms like gay,
Mhm.
lesbian, and bisexual.
That's not a
Okay,
traditional norm.
those that's not a traditional norm. That's what we have, right? You either
Right.
like boys or you like girls, right? And then
Yeah,
non-binary doesn't make any sense because there are only boys and girls, right? It's
Mhm.
often reclaimed as an empowering label, though historically it was a slur, so context matters. Refers to individuals exploring their sexual orientation or gender identity, or who may not identify with a specific label. So yeah, I didn't want to give my definition because I
Right,
was
right.
worried that I would be spilling into what they call gender fluid, which is kind of similar to this in a way. But I guess this way with queer, you don't know.
Oh,
Right. With queer, you don't know, but I imagine with gender fluid, you just switch back and forth.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Um,
But all of it's whack
well,
because
let me tell
because
you though what
people are
ChatGPT
nasty,
said. It's
people are freaky, and
interesting.
everybody want to do everybody. So
Right, and
don't
that's
matter
just
what
entitled,
kind of freak you
dangerous,
have, right?
weird
If
behavior.
you
Like
a
that's
dude that wants to dress like a dude, I
yeah,
mean, like a lady, it's a dude that wants you. It's a lady that wants you. Like
right.
it just is what it is.
It
But
is.
that's to me is a popular myth that the TQs are part of the
Right.
LGBs
Right,
and
right,
like
right.
you know yeah, no
Yeah.
they're it's a whole different thing.
I
And they're
gotta
not
tell you
this huge
though.
community. They're just a few
Right, right.
guided souls.
However, that community has grown in the percentage because of the way that it's pushed. So you got a whole bunch of,
Yeah, it's
Gen A
marketed.
and Gen
Well,
Z.
that's what I was saying. It's a popular myth
Yeah.
that this is the thing that we should be, that somehow it makes you strong or we should be proud of you or something like that. Or, it's all yeah, it's
pride
none of
and pride and who you like to have sex with is weird. But
yeah, it's none of it.
I want to tell you something that I mean, what ChatGPT said is very interesting because I never heard this before. Says that queer and sometimes questioning. So questioning is
Yeah,
the cue sometimes.
yeah. Well, that's the same
Interesting.
thing that we just read in Grok.
Oh, he said questioning. I didn't
No,
see
he
what.
didn't say he didn't use
Oh,
the
okay.
word question. Well, not
But
he,
that's
but
what the cue is. That's why I
it
thought that was
didn't use the
interesting.
word questioning, but it gave the same basic definition that they
I don't.
have
Yeah.
not committed to any
And what
particular.
is bi? I mean, you guys are
Bi
doing
means you like them both,
and queer means
and gender fluid is that you switch. Sometimes you're a boy and sometimes you're a girl.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, all that's like Anyway, so
We'll see how it all turns out, man.
another popular myth. What do you think?
What? Another
I'm just
popular?
popular myth. Yeah,
Oh, I just had one and it fell out of my brain, but it will come back in five, four.
popular myth. Black folks love fried chicken.
Chicken is
I'd
fucking
argue that
yummy.
everybody loves fried
Everybody,
chicken.
if you don't love fried chicken, I mean, I don't eat chicken, but when I did, I love me some fried chicken. And I'm always
Everybody loves that.
seeking
Is
the
not a
thing
black
that's like
thing.
fried chicken, and there's nothing like fried chicken.
Stop
So quit
playing with
lying.
me.
Wait, who said that?
You
Chris
would
Rock
love
was
some
like,
Popeyes right now, huh?
yeah, Chris Rock was like, I'm not, was
Chicken
it
is
him? I'm not
delicious.
pretending I like chicken. That shit is delicious. It is. Ain't lying about that. Okay, so that's not. Oh, in the store the other day, they make chips now that are made out of chicken. They're like crunchy chips. Yeah, I have a picture if you want to see. But they're made out of chicken, and they're. Oh God, I think they knew black people would love these. It looks disgusting to me, but it's basically pressed fried chicken in a chip.
Have we just abandoned the subject at this point?
No, I'm just saying that the myth is perpetuating so, successfully that they're now making things out of this said fried chicken. That's all I was saying. So yes, that is a myth.
Popular myth that women can have it all without a man. What about that myth? Think that's
I don't know.
possible?
You'd have to tell me what it means by it all, you know?
Well, you can have your work and your career and your kids and your everything, right? You could do all that stuff, and that women
And be
don't.
happy
You know
or
what? You know what? Let me just. I'm gonna step out on a limb here right now and just say the myth that women don't need men and men don't need women is prevalent in our society. I'm gonna put it like that.
right,
Women
yeah.
need men, men
Hmm.
need women. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
You
It's
showed a
not even
clip
a
one
one
time that
thing.
was so on when the man was on. I mean, it was like a man on a barge, and like she could.
It's
I
like
can do
yeah.
anything a man can do.
And then it
Okay,
showed
go
men like
for
on the
it.
deep
I'm
sea
not working
rigs
on
and
a
stuff like
barge.
that, right?
I'm not doing that. But I will cook him some food when he comes home, and he
Right.
will.
Like to see you hunting buffalo, right?
Oh no, hell no, no. We
Yeah.
will be out there crying and shit, like.
But that is a popular myth, and it's
Mhm.
all in our culture and our songs. Women brag about being
Big one.
independent, and I always say like being independent is like bragging about getting out of junior high school, and you still got to go to high school. You know what I'm saying?
What do you
Like
mean? Like,
because there's dependence like when you're a child, right? Until you're able to take care of yourself, right? Then there's independence, but there's a step above that and beyond, right? There's high school, there's college, there's interdependence where two people work together to do more than they could
right,
do alone, right? That's the
absolutely.
highest calling, to be interdependent, to be a part of a working
A
team, a family,
community, a
right?
team.
That's
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right. So when you achieve independence, that's like saying I graduated eighth grade. You know what I'm
Yay, good for you. You
saying?
did it. Now
Right.
you're all by
Good
yourself in a
job.
little corner, like I'm a proud, empowered, gay, black, yellow person. Whatever. Yeah, no. I like that one too. I'm gonna see what ChatGPT says about myths and urban culture. I think that it thinks I'm blackety black, which I am inside, but oh, this was the one I was gonna have, and I don't even need ChatGPT for this. Is that the popular myth is that all rappers are rich?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they like that one. You know what I'm saying? They
They
like
like
that
it,
one.
but still, come on, be real with the people. Don't make them think that you drop a record and you just gonna live it like Diddy, for lack of a better artist to compare, because he came out with all
Right.
the $1 million videos and shit. Yeah, so not true, not true.
Hmm.
What about you? You got
Yeah, but
another one?
they did the MTV Cribs. They,
They
love to
did
floss on
Pimp
the,
My
you know what I'm
Ride,
saying?
all those
That's
things.
why,
Yeah.
what's his name's MTV Cribs was the best of all of them. Redman, just remember that? And he showed his apartment.
Oh
It
yes, it
was
was
like
like
a
yeah,
regular old
yeah.
apartment,
It was just
clothes on the
it's where I
floor.
keep my pizza right here on the floor, and that's funny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that
real.
was real. That was the best one. Yeah, keep it real. Um, there's more in music like that. People,
You know
well,
what a
no.
good, you know what a popular myth is?
Hmm.
Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but that politicians care about the people.
No, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
That's
There's
a
no evidence
that's
that speaks to that. There's
yeah.
zero
There's
evidence. They do not.
but even darker myth is that most politicians are compromised.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like that's more. See,
well, no,
that's what I
let
was
me say
gonna.
that I don't think I articulated that correctly.
Right.
Um, the myth is that politicians are looking out for us when in actuality they're compromised. Like in
Mm.
action, like the myth is that there's Elizabeth
On our
Warren is
side, they're
fighting
on
for
our
our
side.
side,
They're
but the
working for the
reality is
people.
so much darker than
Right.
anybody really thinks about and imagines.
That you can't become, I believe, and this is conjecture, um, that you can't become a politician with any power unless you're compromised. Like if you're a good person, you're not gonna be up high, you know. So
Yeah,
that's why, and it plays out over and over again.
if they
It's
don't let you
Jasmine
in the
Crockett
club,
for the people.
right? They don't let you in the club.
They don't let
Jasmine
you
Crockett with
in.
her what's she 30 worth 30 million, something like that now, something like
Like
that.
how?
Yeah,
How?
where'd that come from?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Hmm.
Explain yourself.
All right, girl.
Alrighty.
That's it. Unless you got anything else, any other myths you want to talk about?
Nope. No,
All right.
because we'll get into a whole.
We'll get to a whole other thing. All right. Where can people follow you at?
They can follow me on TikTok. No, everywhere is just Leah Harmony.
Leah Harmony.
LeahHarmony.
All
I
right.
see it on my screen now, by the way. It's a
Good.
magic.
All right. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at daddyflirt. And talk to you soon.
See you later.